Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Cookin'
and Country.
We have a really fun episode planned for you today and a really fun song that we love to play for you guys. And this is kind of a two-parter, so we're digging into all of the southern goodness, and we're going to be making pimento cheese, fried green tomatoes, and then later we're going to make shrimp and grits with cheddar biscuits.
And you are going to gain 10 pounds from this episode alone.
So are we. And we're okay with that because we took an extra long walk today just to make ourselves feel better. So the first thing we're going to do is make the pimento cheese. So here's the question. Do you know what the heck a pimento is?
I don't.
I actually had to look it up today. I've been eating pimento cheese and olives with pimentos my whole life. And they're weird little orange things. I'm sure you can see right there. I want to show them what it looks like in an olive.
We have an olive.
With a pimento!
Close up.
It's actually little red cherry pepper, which I didn't know that's what it was. So it's just those cut up, and I guess they brine it and
put it in an olive.
Put it in an olive. Why not? Makes a martini good. So the pimento cheese is pretty straightforward. So you're going to need 1 brick of softened cream cheese, a couple of cups of cheddar, pimentos, some spices, some mayo, and then we're going to just whip it all up, and then we're going to get these fried green tomatoes going. So, Shane, what's your favorite southern thing to eat?
Shrimp and grits, actually. It is probably my favorite thing that you make, and I'm super excited. This is the episodes that I've been waiting for since we started this Cookin' and Country. Megan shrimp and grits is kind of one of my favorite things on the planet, and I think it'll be one of yours too if you're into indulgence.
And bacon and shrimp.
Yes.
And spices. If you like good things, you're gonna like it.
You're gonna like it. We can only eat it once a year, but luckily since we've been doing these Cookin' and Countries, this is the second time we're eating it this year, so I win.
Yes. Ending 2020 on a high note, thank God. So basically I put the brick of cream cheese, a half a cup of mayonnaise. We've got a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, onion powder, and cayenne powder. We're gonna dump that in there. This is a 4-ounce portion of pimentos, and Shane's over there scooping some pimentos out for me too for a little extra. And then we're gonna put the 2 cups of cheddar cheese in here. Loretta, I can hear she's shaking over there. And then we're gonna add some salt and pepper, and then I'm gonna dice up really finely a little bit of jalapeno for a kick too. And give it just a couple of things of salt.
So when we were in Charleston, we went there a couple years ago. It was probably my favorite trip we've ever taken.
We talk about that a lot because it was pretty magical.
And everything was covered in pimento cheese. It was quite delicious.
It's true. Everywhere we went, everything came with the side of it, and it was awesome.
And we were kind of afraid of it at first, but then we decided to just kind of
embrace it.
When in Rome, I guess.
So jalapeños, I love them and they hate me. So I really should have picked up a pair of gloves, but pandemic and all, we're not going out too much. And the jalapeno oil can kind of burn you, so just be really careful. There's this one time, before I knew that jalapenos were kind of like my enemy, I was stuffing jalapenos with cream cheese and wrapping them with bacon to put on the grill. And then I didn't wash my hands and I touched my face.
And her lips blew up to be the size of Kim Kardashian's.
It was awesome. And I was like, I'm the kind of person where if something's wrong, I look on WebMD and then I think I'm dying. So I was totally convinced that, and my hands were on fire too, and they were swollen, and I was like, there's something seriously wrong.
I kept telling her, you're having an allergic reaction. She's like, I'm not allergic to anything. And
But it was totally the jalapeno oil. Shane's normally right about these sorts of things for me.
I just don't believe the WebMD thing, because that can be a scary road to go down.
And I'm not allowed to look at it anymore.
I got a headache. What does that mean? Oh, your brain's exploding.
Hi, Loretta. We've got a little doggy over here. I don't know if you can see her or hear her, but she's being real cute.
And her name is Loretta. And then Sammy's over here, our cat. He's exploring and checking out the setup.
He's sleuthing. He's a sleuther. So look how colorful and cool that looks. So we've got orange and red and green, and I'm very excited to take it over to my stand mixer here in just a second, and we're going to whip it up, and then from there we're going to get our green tomatoes prepped.
Why green tomatoes? What's the difference between green and red tomatoes?
So that's a really good question. So green tomatoes are just not ripe. So This is before it turns into the beautiful red tomato that you would eat. And feel it, it's really hard.
Oh, yeah.
So if you tried to fry a red tomato, it'd be super mushy and gross, but these are like, it's really hard, so it keeps its shape. And then because it's not ripe, it's a little bit tart, whereas tomatoes, you know, obviously have a very specific taste. This is gonna be a little bit, ooh, I almost cut my finger. These are gonna be a little bit more tart.
Careful.
I got new knives for Christmas. They're really sharp. You know a man loves you if he gives you cutlery for Christmas.
It's a lot of trust. How did I do? Like,
It's pimento magic.
pimento.
Ooh. Those are actually like cute and weird. Salty. Want to put that in there?
Yes.
Let's get it all.
Teamwork.
Is the dream work. All right. So now we're going to go over to the stand mixture. We're going to whip this up and then we're going to get going on our fried green tomatoes. So this is where it's really important that your cream cheese is softened because obviously you're whipping it. Sorry.
Crack that whip.
So then it's not all like weirdly like chunky in the consistency, isn't it weird? But I don't know if you can see in there, it's all starting to get really good and mixed up. I'm gonna kick it up a little bit higher. I'm probably gonna let this go for like a minute or two just so that everything gets blended. It kind of will break down the cheddar cheese a little bit too so that they're little bits and not big bits. And then we're gonna taste it. Oh yeah. I feel like we need a mixer dance. All right, I'm gonna get the sides again. Whoops. So while this is going, we're gonna get our tomatoes cut in just a second. We wanna actually get our oil going. So I'm gonna turn this on like medium-high heat. So we're ready to fry.
You had my heart when you said fry.
I know. We talk about love language a lot, but food is Shane's love language. All right, this looks awesome. We're gonna pop this sucker open, get everything out of here. Yummy. Okay, so we have our pimento. I'm gonna go ahead and just scoop this in a bowl. So when we have, oh look, it's so fluffy.
It looks pretty.
And it's so fluffy. So whipping it, you could mix it by hand, but it'd be really dense and lame, and nobody wants lame and dense.
No, lame and dense. I like light and fluffy.
Okay, I kind of want to
That
taste
made
it.
no sense whatsoever.
Do you want to taste it?
I want to taste it.
Wait. Holy crap. So good. And that's going to be so amazing on some fried green tomatoes. So let's get on that train.
Yumskers.
It's fluffy, it's cheesy, it's pimento-y. All right, so fried green tomatoes. We've got our unripe tomatoes. I really like it because they're kind of ugly, and I think that's cool.
Isn't there like a whole store that just sells like ugly fruit?
I think so. We, as a country, throw away a lot of very good produce just because it's not pretty, and it's perfectly good food. So I think ugly vegetables and fruit are the best. So we're gonna make our breading, and we're gonna get our dredge together. What's dredge?
What is dredge?
Do you know what it is?
Something that goes on the tomato to bind the flour. Maybe? I don't know. I'm guessing.
He's right. So basically we're going to cut up our tomatoes. We're gonna dip them in flour just because it kind of absorbs some of the water. Then we're gonna dip it in the dredge, which is milk and beaten eggs. And then it gets dipped again in our cornmeal and breadcrumb covering. So it's kind of got all kinds of stuff going on, which is cool. So, got my tiny whisk here. I like. She
likes
things.
little glasses, little silverware.
I love tiny things. I can't help it.
I think her dream is to live in a tiny village.
Yes, I have a lot of tiny glassware too, but that's for another episode. So 2 eggs, half a cup of milk. We're gonna give this a whisk, then we're gonna get everything cut up. And we're gonna give this a little whiskey. When did you first have fried green tomatoes? Was it in Charleston?
No, I've had them before. I can't remember the first time I've had them, but I haven't had them
In a long time.
Yeah. Charleston was the first time I really noticed them because they were done right.
Yeah, super good.
I probably had like Minnesota fried green tomatoes, which
Is
probably were
different.
covered in cheese curds and gravy.
Which is good too. All right, so we're gonna cut these about 1/2 inch thick. And come here. Feel how firm that is. Like that's not, like I just stick your thumb in it. Come feel how firm this is. I am man.
I'm your man.
You are, it's true. So they can be thick, they can be thin. The cool thing about this is like, you can do it however you want.
Because I'm guessing you don't really have to worry about undercooking the tomato.
Correct. Because you could just eat it raw. That's pretty.
Ooh, that is
Smells
pretty.
good too.
Smell-o-vision.
Smell-o-vision. I like smells.
Coming to you live from the Baskerville household.
Ooh, that's a pretty tomato.
It is.
Like, that's so pretty. I'm puzzled. I love nature. Can you see it's got red on the inside and it's green on the outside and like it's a rainbow of colors. All right, so we got all our tomatoes cut up. I have to know how this tastes raw. It's pretty tart. That's why we're gonna cover it in things and fry it. All right, so I'm also gonna give a little salt to these because the salt kind of absorbs some of that moisture. I've got my flour. So basically the order goes flour, liquid dredge, and then your final dredge. So it's a 1/2 cup each of cornmeal and breadcrumbs. And then can you grab me a fork?
I can.
Little salt and pepper in here. I like to use Himalayan salt because I feel like it's just a bit milder. Thank you.
I remember that time we went to the Ramsey Steakhouse in Vegas.
Oh my God. This was like our first fancy dinner together and it was very expensive and worth it. We got all dressed up.
And they brought out a cart of steaks, and they're like, these have been aged for 5 years in a room of pink Himalayan sea salt. And we're like, hey, what is Himalayan sea salt?
Right. And why is this in a room for however many months? And it was a 3-hour experience and like it was the coolest thing ever. They make you slow down. Every course like takes its time. First time I ever had a Pim's cup, which is like the best cocktail ever. It's really, really cool.
But then we came back and bought a lot of pink Himalayan sea salt.
Yes, we did. Yep, we did. So I'm going to do a little test of my oil. I'm going to put a little bit of flour in there and just kind of see. You don't want your oil to be too hot because then you just burn things. Frying is really
It's
an
an
art. Okay, so a little flour. And that basically gives the egg something to hold on to.
Hold on for one more egg. I could keep going, but I'm not gonna.
Thank you.
We'd lose our viewers.
Our few viewers. All right. So we're gonna get a couple of these going and then we're gonna go ahead and fry them so we can get to the good stuff. Oh, so I hope everybody is hanging in there. It's been quite a year. I know everybody's saying that, but it's the truth. And man, you just kind of have to look at each other sometimes and go, well, that didn't go so great. That's just how this is gonna go, okay?
It definitely was a doozy.
So we have a little song that we're gonna play for you called Oh Hell, and it's about going through tough times, but doing it with the person that you love and just kind of getting through.
Working hard, trying to pay the rent. Don't make enough for the money we spend. Never ahead, always behind. Just want a piece of the pie that's mine. Know I'll always share what's mine. Can't get used to living in these crazy days. Don't know if things will be the same again. Can't get used to living in these crazy days. Don't know if things will be the same. Oh hell, that didn't go so well. The more we try, the more we fail. Oh hell, that didn't go so well. But some things you can never tell. Oh hell, that didn't go so well. The more we try, the more we fail. Oh hell, that didn't go so well. But some things you can never tell. Some things you can never ever tell.
All that with Dredge fingers.
Ah, that's hot.
All right, ready to fry these little gems up? And then
Little country music and some frying. I mean, I can't think of a better way to spend the day.
it's a good Sunday.
It
All right,
is.
my oil's glistening. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit so that it doesn't get crazy. Wanna come check out what I'm doing over here? Fryer oil's hot. Be careful. Lower it in gently. You don't want it to spill or splash. And you don't want to crowd them. Let's just do a couple at a time. Couple minutes per side. Get off there, you little goof. Holy moly. Get off the fork. Obviously, the thicker they are, you're going to want to give them a little bit more time. I cut a couple pretty thick, so put this guy in there.
She's my frying queen.
And you got to do it in the cast iron. Like,
Isn't there laws?
I think there's a law. So see how it's going pretty good? I'm going to turn that down a little bit. So it's getting brown pretty quick. That looks great. Oh yeah. Fried goodness.
And don't use your fingers to pull them out.
No. Gonna put some pimento on this. See how dark that got so fast? So definitely want to turn this down just a smidge. Not burnt, so you just want to be careful.
So what is the exact measurement of a smidge?
It's about a skosh, which is a little bit more than a pinch. Look at that yumminess. Frying's messy. It's just what it is. We're going to get oil kind of on our stove, but we'll get it cleaned up. Look at that. And you want to let that drain on some paper towels. Oh yeah. Okay. So then when you put them in, you're going to lower the temp a little bit naturally. So let's just give that a second to get back to the right temperature. It's pretty cool. We've never made these at home before, so this is really fun.
I'm excited.
We found they had the green tomatoes at the grocery store, and I was like, I know what we're gonna do this episode. Hey, little guy, you wanna get in there and get all fried and yummy? Oh, I just messed that one up. Yum, 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 yum. Little delicious things that I like to eat with spreadable cheese. Yeah.
Frying will make your ears better.
It won't make your heart better. It'll make your ear better. Now it's gonna be a good one.
Dibs.
We'll split it.
Fair enough.
Sandwich. Alright. What's cool is it's basically just heating the tomato up. It's not really doing anything to that. But then when we spread pimento cheese on it, chef's kiss. So I think one of the things that I love the most about Southern food is it's all about comfort and just making you feel good. The flavors, like, is it the most healthy for you? No, but it's all about like making you feel good. And if we were in normal times, this is something where you could make a plate of it, put it on the table with all your friends or your family on a Sunday afternoon and eat and talk and spend time. And I think that's probably one of my favorite things about that mojo. And it's one of the reasons I love it so much, aside from basically having half my family from Charleston. But I sure wish that we were there and we were able to have this outside by the ocean today. But next best thing, Arizona.
Aren't they having like a snowstorm or cold streak?
I think they are, actually. It's been pretty weird weather this year. Oh yeah, that looks so good. We're almost done. The cool thing about this appetizer is it's pretty quick. Doesn't take that much, so you can whip them up. We're gonna eat these, and then we're gonna get started on some shrimp and grits. All right, the time has come to eat our fried green tomatoes with our pimento cheese. So I'm just gonna cut one of these guys in half. They're still pretty hot, so be careful. What's nice is they're round, so we can just eat them like it's a little num-num. What does that even mean?
A little tomato cake?
A little, yes, it's like a tomato bruschetta. Look at that. So if you can get this on there when it's still warm, it kind of melts on it a little bit, but just take, oh my gosh, look at that. All right, are you ready? Can we cheers our tomato? Cheers.
Oh my god.
Holy buckets, that's so good. The crunchiness of the cornmeal, the creaminess of the pimento, there's a teeny bit of spice with the jalapeno.
There's a little sweetness to the tomato that is kind of nodes of, I don't know. I was trying to say fancy foodie talk, but I don't know it.
Well, like cooking the tart tomato just does bring the sweetness out. Oh my gosh, this is so good.
I think I need a tattoo of pimento across my chest
In Old English. All right, guys, it's your turn to go make this, and when you make it, hopefully you'll think you're sharing the table with us, playing some music, eating some great food, talking. Let us know what you think. Yum.